Hey guys, what is going on? LegoMan123 here, and welcome back to another video where today I'll be sharing my thoughts on the LEGO Harry Potter 2022 set leaks. And these 2022 set leaks do consist of 6 potential sets, so without further ado, let's get into it. So starting off is the Ministry of Magic set 76403, and this will be based on the Order of the Phoenix, which is the 5th film in the franchise. And when I saw this set was going to be based on the Order of Phoenix, I immediately thought of the battle with the Death Eaters with Harry's friends and then also some members of Dumbledore's army. Unfortunately, it just sounds like, from the description we do get, it basically does sound like a bunch of officers with like the Ministry of Magic. There's really nothing like too special about this set, like there's not going to be any sort of like battle. And that is because instead of a battle, it's basically just going to be a bunch of officers, as the description does describe, with also a bridge that could be used to create an archway between the two offices. So basically sounds like employees just doing their work in like this sort of office type area. So nothing too special about the set. And the minifigs, I must say, are an interesting choice because you do get Harry, Ron, Hermione, Dolores Umbridge, Arthur Weasley, as well as Lucius Malfoy, 2 Dementors, and possibly Fenric Greyback. But from the description, I'm really not too excited for this set because it would be definitely really awesome to have like a battle within the Ministry of Magic, potentially with Harry's friends, the Dumbledore's army, or Dumbledore versus Voldemort, because that was definitely a really awesome scene, and it could be definitely a really awesome set to get, but it just sounds like a generic office type place with just employees working, so it's really nothing too special in my opinion. Then the next set is the Shrieking Shack, and this is set 76407. But unfortunately, there's no description for this set, but I can most definitely say that it will be a Prisoner of Azkaban set due to seeing the Shrieking Shack only in the Prisoner of Azkaban. But I definitely think it would be a really interesting set because I believe the last time we got one was back possibly in like 2004 when the Prisoner of Azkaban first came out. So I'm really interested to see like an updated version, and I definitely think they could do a really awesome job. But what I would love to see is possibly the idea of actually connecting the Whomping Willow to the Shrieking Shack. Because in the movie, there is an entry from the Whomping Willow to the Shrieking Shack, and I would love to see LEGO attempt that because they have somewhat done it with like a little small hole in the build for the Whomping Willow, and I think they could actually make it work really nicely by creating like a somewhat small tunnel build connecting the Whomping Willow to the Shrieking Shack, and I definitely think that would make it look really awesome and definitely have purpose to why they included the hole in the Whomping Willow. And I definitely think the minifig selection will possibly include Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and then possibly Sirius Black, as well as Remus Lupin, and potentially Peter Pettigrew, because that was like the key scene in the Shrieking Shack with like those characters in there, and I definitely think to include them would make that set a lot. Then we have the Hogwarts Horntail set 76406. And we have already gotten a version of the Hogwarts Horntail, I believe, in the second wave of LEGO Harry Potter sets, but I can definitely see why LEGO have decided to make another set based on the Hogwarts Horntail. And I believe that is because when they first made the Hogwarts Horntail in the second wave of LEGO Harry Potter sets, it didn't go too well. A lot of people really didn't like it compared to the one like way back when the Goblet of Fire first came out. And I must say, I definitely agree with that because the new one, or well, the one in the second wave of LEGO Harry Potter sets really does compare to how well the one in like the original Goblet of Fire sets were. And I definitely think an updated one is a must-have because I definitely think they could do a lot more of a better job. And they could also possibly include the stand as well as like some rock work for the dragon or the Hogwarts Horntail, because I definitely think having like that sort of small tent, as well as like that sort of chain with like that very small rock with like the golden egg, really does compare to like what the original set was. And I would love to see Lego make an updated version of the dragon, as well as like a stand, because they could definitely do some really awesome minifigs and just some very simple rock work. Then we have the Hogwarts Serious Rescue Set 76401. And I must say, from the description, it definitely does sound like a pretty simple set, but it also could be quite an interesting set because it does include the Dark Tower as well as two arches of the courtyard, and then the foundations which can be seen after Sirius is rescued. So I could definitely see this possibly being an extension to, and I really hope it is, to the original version of Hogwarts with the Great Hall, Whomping Willow, and the Astronomy Tower, as well as the Clock Tower, because I definitely think it would work a lot more better with those sets rather than the modular style, but it also may work with the modular style rather than those sets I previously mentioned. But I definitely think this set will work a lot more better once you actually connect it to the modular style of Hogwarts, or the Great Hall, Whomping Willow, the Astronomy Tower, and the Clock Tower version of Hogwarts, because it really doesn't sound too interesting. But I must say, it could be an interesting inclusion to actually build up Hogwarts, whether that is the modular style or the previous sets I did mention. And it could possibly look really cool as well, because the minifigs included are Sirius, Harry Potter, and Hermione. But there's a really strange inclusion, and I really hope this isn't true, because it is Ginny, which is really strange inclusion, like why they're including her in the Hogwarts Serious Rescue when she really had nothing to do with that in the movies, or just she wasn't even barely in the Prisoner of Azkaban to actually begin with. So it's really strange why they're including her, but they might be including her due to Lego wanting to have a Ginny Weasley variant from the Prisoner of Azkaban. And then also we're getting possibly a new version of Buckbeak, but it might be the same from the Hagrid's Hut. And then the next set, which I'm really excited for, is the Hogwarts Dumbledore's Office set 76402. And that is because the description definitely sounds really awesome, but unfortunately I think this will be a part of the modular style of Hogwarts, and that is because we did get a somewhat Dumbledore's Office in the Clock Tower set, but it really didn't live up to the standard as well as it should have, because the description definitely does sound really awesome, and I'm really looking forward to this set because it definitely does sound really interesting, as well as the minifig selection, because you do get Professor Dumbledore, McGonagall, and Snape, as well as Mr. Filch, and then also Mrs. Norris, which I'm really interested to see what they'll do with that, if we'll get a brand new mold of a cat, as well as Harry and Cho Chang. So just from the mention of Cho Chang, I definitely think this will be an Order of the Phoenix version of Dumbledore's Office. And I really hope this set, unlike the Clock Tower set, which did include Professor Dumbledore's Office, with this set, I hope they include like a lot of Easter eggs with like the Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and just all the previous movies, because I definitely think that could be such a really awesome idea, like including the Sword of Gryffindor from the Chamber of Secrets and just a bunch of other Easter eggs, because that way I definitely think this set would look a lot more interesting instead of just having like a bunch of paintings around. And I also hope like the paintings aren't stickers, because they could be quite annoying to put on, because they could do some like really interesting sort of two-way stickers where like you move. I'm really not too sure how to explain. Like you move it and like the sticker sort of moves depending on like how you move it. So that could be definitely really interesting to see like how they'll make Dumbledore's Office with like stickers or prints. And the final set for the LEGO Harry Potter 2022 set leaks is the Hogwarts Carriage set 76400. And due to the description, it definitely does sound like an interesting set because I like the inclusion of the idea of having a small tree with mushrooms, and the carriage I think will look very similar to the one we did get in the Fantastic Beasts sets, but possibly a little smaller to actually fit like mid-sized minifigs, because from the inclusion of Luna, I definitely think this will be an Order of the Phoenix version of a set, which I'm really glad we're finally getting some Order of the Phoenix sets, because we really haven't got too many of them with this new wave or with the previous wave of Lego Harry Potter sets, because they've been primarily focusing on like the first 3 movies. So I'm definitely really excited to actually see some Order of the Phoenix sets. And from the price, I definitely think we'll only get like 1 Hogwarts Carriage. I don't think we'll get like 2 Hogwarts Carriage with Thestrals. And I really love how we could possibly be getting a baby Thestral for the very first time, because I definitely think that could look really awesome. But I'll be really interested to actually see if the Thestrals will be actually pulling the Hogwarts carriages, or they will be like in a sort of separate area with the small tree with the mushrooms. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did hearing these potential LEGO Harry Potter 2022 set leaks, because I'm really glad we're finally getting a few sets for the Order of the Phoenix. I don't think we've actually gotten them yet in like this new wave of LEGO Harry Potter sets with like the modular style, but I really hope with some of them, as I did say, that they actually relate to the sort of original version of Hogwarts, which does consist of the Great Hall, Whomping Willow, Astronomy Tower, and the Clock Tower, because I definitely think those sets will work a lot more better rather than the modular style. But I really hope someday we actually get a few more sets for the Half-Blood Prince, because I think we only got like 1 set for like the Half-Blood Prince. I'm just looking around now. Yeah, I think we only got like 1 set, but I'm still waiting, just like a number of other LEGO Harry Potter fans are, for some Deathly Hallows sets for both Part 1 and 2. So hopefully one day we'll actually get some sets, but in the meantime, I think we're just going to have to deal with sets from the Philosopher's Stone all the way up to the Half-Blood Prince. But as always, guys, hope you guys did enjoy this video, and can I say goodbye?